Yeah, good morning, all you YouTubers. Welcome back for another dose of something, insanity of some sort. Today we're going to talk about the SidKick Pico a little bit. Now, I'm not going to belabor the point on this. This will probably be a pretty quick video because Captain Commodore and Reviving Retro, I'll put links to their stuff down below. They've already done most of the good stuff on this and posted videos, so I'm not going to belabor points on building and this and that and the other thing. I just want to talk about integration into a Commodore 128 specifically and the DAC board. Not every, the DAC's kind of an optional thing, but highly recommended. I think it brings out some of the best features. So anyway, here's Frenetic's GitHub page. He's the guy who created all this goodness, and what a wonderful man he is, all the projects he's done. So I'm just going to kind of skip down to this, the stereo output board. This is required if you want to do stereo, and it probably improves quality, maybe. I don't know, because I didn't run mine without it at all. But one thing I wanted to touch on here is the boards I bought were not solder blobbed. So luckily there's a good high-res picture in here. But when you buy these DAC breakout boards, these pads might all be open, and if they are, the board's not going to work. You have to do something with these pads. So this is how I set mine up. Just a word of warning. Make sure you take a peek at the bottom side of the board as you're putting this thing together. It's kind of hard not to, but anyway, just make sure your pads are solder blobbed like this to enable the outputs and filters and everything on this board if you get one that is not blobbed already. The other bit is right here. You can order from our sponsor PCBWay. Wonderful folks there. So you can click the link right out of the repo. You can do PCB plus assembling, add to cart. It'll ask you to log in and then check out. They will follow up a couple of times through the build process to make sure things are oriented correctly. It's kind of a pretty personal service when you think about it. It's your order they're sending you pictures of to make sure chips and caps and diodes and whatever are on there correctly. They nailed everything the first time, didn't have any problems at all, but thought it was very nice of them to follow up and all that. So shout out to those guys. Thanks for sending me these boards and allowing me to do this video. Much appreciated. So get out there, go buy some boards. So what we're going to do today is talk about integrating this thing into the C128 and, with the DAC board specifically. So there's a couple of things to think about as far as fitment and all that, but the most important thing is how the hell are you going to get the audio out of the back of the computer without drilling holes in your case or having wires dangling and whatever else. I personally don't mind the dangle wires, but, let's try to do it pretty. So when you install this SID, you're effectively orphaning the audio out pin here. You don't need it anymore when you're using the DAC breakout board and all that. So you have, what amounts to an audio amplifier here that you just don't need and kind of gets in the way, right? So, it comes out through some resistors, the actual transistors over here. There's some caps for filtering and whatever. And eventually you get to capacitor 85 and resistor number 6. This actually decouples, any kind of DC element of the circuit before heading out to the back of the machine. So if you pull this out, you effectively disconnect all of this from hooking up to I think it's pin 3 on the DIN connector, the default audio out pin on the DIN connector. So if you pull this and this resistor here, you effectively free up that pin on the back side of the computer. Then there's, everybody knows hopefully about the pin 7 mod, where you can use pin 7 on your DIN connector for the other audio channel because it's not connected to anything, right? So we're going to have 2 bare pins so we can feed this board, the DAC board, directly out of the computer without any kind of interference or relying on any of the circuitry. So we'll pop out C85, we'll pop out R6, we'll figure out which pad is convenient for jamming our left channel signal back in, and we'll get the right channel routed to pin 7, and we ought to have a pretty clean install. So I guess I'll fire up a camera and we'll look at a real live specimen. All right, here's one of our boards provided by PCBWay. They did an excellent job putting this together. There's hardly any flux or anything like that left over. No bridged pins. Everything's aligned pretty well. It's, pretty easy build even if you don't have them do it, just to, kind of flux the hell out of the board and solder on a couple of chips, a couple of resistors, a cap, and a diode, and that's really it. There's nothing to speak of on the other side. It's just a bare board on the bottom side. So yeah, thanks again to the good folks at PCBWay for sending me these and saving me the trouble of doing any of the surface mount soldering, because I'm lazy. So anyway, here's our machine. I have already gone ahead and removed the two components. So this is C85. It's a 10 microfarad electrolytic cap, and R6 is just a 47K resistor. So pretty much this is the ground side of R6. We don't need that. This is the positive side of when the cap was in there that heads over the SID socket. We don't need that. So both this pad here and that pad there are linked directly to pin 3 that goes to our DIN jack here. So we can put our wire onto either one of these pads, and it'll just be a wire going out of the back. There's no more active electronics on it or anything. So pin 7 is this one here. So if you don't have a Neo board, if you have an old school C128 original board, you can just solder the wire on. 99% sure that's pin 7. We'll tone it out just to be on the safe side. I don't want to be lying to you guys, but it's just a matter of hooking up to that. That pad goes nowhere else. Let's get a meter. And on the 128 Neo, that beautiful man who designed this, thanks Johan, there is a very easy to get to pad there to put your wire on. So that should be one of these pins. I thought that was, yeah, there it is. So yeah, you can go right on the leg of the socket if you don't have a convenient pad to hook up to there. So here is the completed board, which this was the reviving retro kind of style of putting it together, because you could have this on wires and mount it somewhere else in the computer. On a 425 or 466 board, you might be cramped in a 64, but as luck would have it, pin 1 is over here, and everything is upside down in the 128, so we can just pop this right in here, if I can see what the hell I'm doing. And you have all kinds of clearance over here to work with. Looks like I got all the pins in the right place, I think. Did I? Yeah, looks good. So there you go, installed, right? So now it's just a matter of hooking up some address lines and the audio outputs. So I'm not going to bother with the audio ground. It is just bonded to ground with everything else. This is already on ground. I'm not going to add the wire. We're just going to take left and right and wire them up, left channel here and right channel, like I said, there or there, and we'll have audio output on the DIN jack. All right, there we go, all wired up for now anyway. I have some other ideas, but what was that, right output, the red one, going over to pin 7, and this says LR out, so I don't know, they got a little confused, but this is the left output, and that goes over to where that cap used to be. And then the yellow line is address line 5 that, hang on, you can't see, but on the Neo it's very easy to pick up address lines out of these breakouts, or you could go down to the 8502 and grab it out of one of those pins. I forget what pin it is, but it's easy enough to grab an address line off the CPU. There's probably vias somewhere you can grab it off too, but way too easy on the Neo just to go over there. So yeah, that's it, wired up. For audio out, I think I've showed this before, but this is just a DIN jack with pins 3 and 7 wired through to an 1/8 inch or a 3.5 mil, whatever you want to call it, depending on where in the world you are. And yeah, you could plug headphones into this and just listen to the line levels, or jack it into speakers, computer capture device, whatever it is you want. So, all right, that's that for now. Let's, button it up and see if it works. All right, we've got this bad boy all rigged up to composite capture, or component capture, so it doesn't look like ass. S-Video is just terrible that comes out of the 128s, and my S-Video capture card is even worse, so the two together suck. Anyway, I think this was the sys command to get into the config tool. And I have had this boot up and I've been playing with it a little bit, and it works. Let's get that out of the way. The timing it's correct on this thing. Everything does as it should. Compared to the ARM2 SID and the FPGA SID that had all the timing issues we looked at in previous videos. Go back and look at that if you want a deeper dive. I'll put links or something in the description, I guess, to make it easy for you. So I've got it set up as, 6581 and an 8580. They're both on D400 right now, and I'm going to change the panning so they are very much separated so you can hear the difference. So channel 1 is going to be left side, 6581. Channel 2 will be the right side, 8580. Honestly, I couldn't hear too much a difference between the two. Maybe in certain demos you would. It will do the DigiBoost fix for 8580 mode, all that good stuff. I don't want to say it sounds like crap. It's not a real SID, but the audio quality leaves a little bit to be desired. The two things I noticed is that the mid frequencies seem to be a little bit higher than on any of the other replacements or real SID. That might be due to lack of filters, and you can probably add some filters on. I guess that'll be an experiment in the future to try to, build a, bandpass kind of thing to pass the lows and highs and kind of dull out the mids a little bit. And the other thing I notice is that there's some crackly, staticky kind of sounding artifacts on some of the high frequencies that you can kind of pick up in SID tunes, and in one game in particular, I notice it a lot, and it does kind of drive me up a wall in there. So, at any rate, let's play this thing for a second with the test tune that's built in here. We'll hit P on the keyboard, and we'll let that run for a moment or two. Pay close attention to the highs. See if you hear that crackling I hear. We'll see how it captures. Yeah, right there, the crackling. All right, we'll turn that off. We'll save this here and quit X something. Yeah, there we go. And then we're gonna run a game real quick, like. Oh crap. Let's see if I remember how to use this thing. There we go. Oh, you know what? Hang on. I'm screwing up already. We want to set him to D420 so we can do some stereo action in Super Mario Brothers. So, sorry about that. bring up the sound again. All right, I'm going to pause and unpause it a couple times. The high-pitched tone it makes when it's pausing and unpausing, pay close attention to that. See if I'm crazy or if you hear the staticky, artifacty kind of things that come along with those notes. It also does it pretty good when you pick up coins, so let's go find a bunch of coins. Oh, this is laggy. This is really hard to play through a capture device. Oh my god. Yeah, listen to the coins. Yeah, so anyway, that's all I kind of wanted to emphasize, is that the audio quality is, it's not a SID, you know, I didn't expect it to be. But I wonder if that can be cleaned up. I played around with doing PWM mode versus DAC mode, 1 SID versus 2 SID, 8580, 6581. Did not matter at all. Those artifacts were still there. So I think it's just a side effect of it being a microcontroller. I mean, it's not even an FPGA or anything like that. So, you know, you get what you pay for. These things are super cheap to make. Most people may not even notice it. I notice if you ran it through a crappy flat panel TV, you didn't really notice it that much. But when you're listening on headphones or really scrutinizing it is when it really shines through. So anyway, I guess I'll cut this here. You're probably bored by now, but I'd say it is the only fully working C128 mode replacement. That being said, I guess I'll pop on RFO, because that's something that is really the problem. Super Mario works with any of the replacements, but RFO actually runs the VDC and 2 megahertz mode and all that. So let's here. We'll cheat. We'll come in here. Where did I put that? It's in here, I think. Did I pass it? Yeah, there we go. And we're not going to see anything because I don't have the 80 column hooked up. But you'll be able to hear it run at least. Alright, well anyway, that's that. You hear 2 megahertz mode works. Everything does what it's supposed to and what it's designed to do and meant to do, and it actually times correctly. So, you know, that's a testament to the guy who did this. I mean, you have the more commercial type products out there that don't time properly on the 128. This thing's timing is bang on. So, what did that girl say in that movie? Dead on, balls accurate for ignition timing. So, anyway, I'll leave you with that. And yeah, I guess I'll wrap it up here. Take care, everybody, and coming next will be more cart madness. So stay tuned. We'll see you later.